Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Okay, so welcome to the next lecture, that is lecture number 22 as a part of 5th week. This is the second lecture, and in this lecture basically we are going to focus on what kind of skills would be required by the supervisors or those who want to see that this development plan succeeds or happens successfully, right. And here we are going to talk about different kind of skills that managers or supervisors require in order to ensure that these development plans take care successfully. Not only that, we also need to ensure that those who are engaged in the process have certain skills in order to succeed. So, what we are going to discuss here is consequently what are the different kind of skills, but we will start with one important activity which is very relevant for improving performance, and that is coaching. Now, if you look at coaching, coaching is something that is given to the employees on the job, so that they are able to improve performance. So, the basic idea is of coaching is that while you are working, you are being guided to learn how to perform your job better. So, basically there are certain processes that is to be taken care while coaching an individual on a one-to-one basis to see that how he is going to improve his performance. So, before we discuss in detail about coaching, let us look at some of the basic issues or the basic things related to coaching to start with. Now, when we are talking about performance management skills, it means that managers need certain skills. For example, they are going to act as coaches. So, they are going to coach employees to improve their performance. They also need to observe and document performance. So, they also need to have these skills, so that they are not going to be biased. So, they need to be trained and how to accurately rate performance, so that there is no error, and also document them properly, because these documentations are required. Suppose there is a problem tomorrow and employee is going to make a complaint or appeal against the performance evaluation that have been made. So, these documents help supervisors to ensure and probably defend themselves that okay, whatever observations have been made by us is correct and accurate. And another important thing is that when you are giving feedback, though we will talk about feedback in detail, you should be in a position to give both kind of feedback, whether it is positive or negative, but you need to ensure that you should learn how to give feedback. So, that is also a part of your skill, that how to give feedback, whether it is positive feedback or whether you are going to give a negative feedback, right. And then if you are in a position to develop these competencies, probably it would help you to conduct good performance review, because when I am talking about performance management skills, it happens when first you go for prerequisites, then you plan, then execute, and then you have implemented. Once you have implemented this performance management system, you have got the data, right. At each of these stages, you require certain skills to ensure the effectiveness of the performance management system. So, what I am trying to convey here is that you need to ensure that you have these skills, so that you are going to facilitate the process of improving performance by the employees, right. And when performance evaluation data is available at hand and you have this data, you can make use of this data for planning the development of the employees, and also give them feedback about the performance irrespective of the level of performance that is achieved, whether it is positive feedback or negative feedback, right. So, what we are going to discuss here is what are the different kind of skills that is required, and to start with, the major skill that we are going to talk about is the coaching skills, right. So, we will discuss some of the basic things related to coaching, right. How coaching happens? The basic idea of coaching comes from the statement that whether employees know what they are supposed to do, and they also know how they are going to perform their job. It means they know about the content and the process of the job. Content means what are the different kind of activities which comes from the job description data, and then the process that how they are going to perform the job, right. Now, it is very, very important that if they do not know what are they supposed to do and how they are going to do it, then probably they require coaching, right. Next thing is that you need to ensure that the assumptions that performance management has is not simply looking at how the person is doing job, but also ensure that the job is done efficiently within a time frame, right, meet the standards of quality and quantity both, right. So, you are going to measure performance on certain dimensions. I have already talked about it. What are these dimensions? The performance is measured against effectiveness, efficiency, quality and time. So, these are 4 dimensions against which your performance is measured. It is not only simply performing a job. For example, if I am giving a lecture, so it does not mean that I have completed my lecture within a given time frame, right. That is one thing. It means I have done my job, but what is more important is that whether I have delivered the content which was supposed to be delivered in the job or not. So, whether the lecture is reliable and valid in terms of the content is meaningful, and second how I have delivered. Okay. In order to deliver, whether I have those competencies which are required like good communication skill, speaking skill, observation skills, whether I have those things or not. So, what I need to look at is that whether employee know the content and the process, right. And when it comes to measurement, as I told you, when you are talking about performance management skill, is measuring performance management against these 4 factors: effectiveness, efficiency, quality and time. So, these are the things against which you are going to measure the performance of the individual, right. It is not simply meeting the targets, but performance management must meet these expectations. How effective you have been in terms of output input ratio, right. How efficient you are, whether you have used less input to produce more output, what is the quality of your product and services, and how much time you have taken, whether you have adhered to that standard time frame and produced quality products more or less, right, that you are going to see whether you are meeting the standard or exceeded the standard. So, when you are talking about effectiveness, it means that you met the target. Efficiency means you exceeded the target, right. Then whether you have met the quality standards and adhered to the timeline that is set for achieving that performance or not, right. So, when I am talking about coaching, the idea of coaching is linked with these kind of things, right. So, whether coaching has helped you to improve your performance, meet the quality standards, do the job in time, or it is not simply meeting the task that is given to you at hand, right. So, moving further, when I am talking about these kind of things, okay, so it is not only a matter of expecting task, but doing it correctly and on time, right. If he is not able to perform, then it means that he does not know how to do, or there are certain behavioral issues which need to be looked into, right. So, coaching is given on both using for technical skills as well as for behavioral skills, right. So, it is very, very important to look at it, that how coaching is going to help individuals to improve performance of the people. Okay. Now, the idea is that this coaching is going to help in what way? Coaching is also a kind of learning interventions which is going to help you to improve your performance, and also it is linked with the performance of the organization. Sometimes it has been found that you go to attend a learning program, okay, but you are not able to transfer whatever you have learned on the job, right. So, this is the problem. Second problem is happen that you do not change your attitude and behavior, right. So, these are the two major problems, that is why you require coaching. So, now let us identify that what are the issues. Okay. So, any kind of intervention or learning intervention that happens related to your knowledge, skill or attitude, right. It means it talks about two kind of things in order to perform your job well, that is content and process. Content means the knowledge of the job which you are going to perform and the process through which you are going to do it, right. So, we are covering both knowledge, skill and attitude. What actually happens when you are going for any kind of intervention, learning intervention, the idea is that you develop the knowledge and skill both, and you also develop positive attitude, right, in order to perform well. Now, when we are talking about these content, process and attitude, which is supposed to be developed as a part of the intervention, any kind of learning intervention, okay, it should be transferred on the job. Right. If you are able to transfer it on the job, what happens? Result is improved performance, right. Now, the thing is where coaching is going to help you. Coaching intervention needs here. So, it is going to moderate your learning to ensure that you are able to transfer your learning on the job, right. There could be other factors which is going to help you to transfer smoothly. For example, support in terms of commitment and resources by the top management, right, in terms of guiding and help by the supervisor. So, all this is required, which we are saying that in terms of support, right. So, when we say that knowledge leads to action, it could appear to be a good statement, but what we need to add here is knowledge leads to action, provided you are going to provide or you are going to see that necessary conditions are met, and these necessary conditions are support in terms of resources and infrastructure from the management and the organization, and also see that you facilitate this process to ensure that the person is able to transfer his knowledge on the job, right, and that is where coaching is going to play a major role, right, and that is why we are talking about coaching here. Okay. So, the lack of transfer in learning is one factor, and then you are not able to change your behavior, right, and that is why sometimes we require more context specific learning, right. For example, if I do not know that how to operate this machine, right, and somebody is going to tell me how to do this job, if he is simply theoretical telling me, okay, this is the process, probably I will not be able to learn it, because I have the knowledge, but I am not able to convert that knowledge into a skill, but he demonstrates it. So, what happens? If he is going to demonstrate it, that okay, this is how the machine is to be operated, probably in not in one go, but two go, third go, probably I would be able to understand the process in a better way and I am able to operate the machine. So, the idea of coaching is that you are able to transfer your learning, you are in the job by bringing about a required changes in the behavior and attitude and understanding the process in the context of your job, and that is why it is very, very important. So, let us understand what happens during the coaching process or what exactly coaching is. So, we will need to understand certain terms like who is a coach. Coach is one who is going to provide you training or going to see that you have certain learning experiences, right. Then the next is coachee. Who is the coachee? Coachee is the one who gets the service from the coach, and the client is the organization or the management, because coach is going to be appointed by the client to help the coachee to ensure that coachee learns the processes through which they are going to perform their job, right. Now, if you look at this, coaching is how it is viewed. It is viewed as a way to correct poor performance. So, the basic idea is coaching is that if you are not able to perform well, it means that you do not understand processes. So, you should be able to learn through this coaching process, so that you become more effective in your performance and you contribute to organizational performance. So, the idea is that you move from this, like you first you inform him what is to be done, then you also teach how it is to be done, and then you demonstrate that okay, this is how it is to be done, and then you tell him to do it, and if he is able to do it, then you recognize. So, the process is something like this: inform, teach, guide and recognize, and that is how you are going to proceed. So, the idea here is that the individual himself has to learn it. The coach facilitates, he is going to tell you how to do it, but ultimately you are going to do it. Okay. So, the basic objective here in the coaching is to increase your awareness that okay, this is how I am going to perform my job, this is what I need to learn in order to be more effective in my job. So, it is very important that the coach develop a good relationship, one-to-one relationship with the coachee, so that he is able to help them right in the process. So, after understanding these basic concepts, let us see what happens. Okay. Basically, it is a helping relationship. Why I am telling that it is a helping relationship? The idea is that the manager is going to help the coachee or the individual employee to learn certain things, especially the processes to perform his job effectively, right. And it is possible only when manager is able to create enough interest, he is able to motivate and encourage that, okay, and is also participates in the process, takes an active role to see that how he is going to improve his performance, right. And that is why it is known as a collaborative process. It means the coach and the coachee both are going to collaborate with each other, otherwise they will not be able to perform well, right. And it is also an ongoing process. It is not that okay, once you have learned certain things, it is enough. Tomorrow you are going to learn another thing from a different coach, right. So, it is a collaborative ongoing process where the coaches might change, but you need to continuously learn new things in order to improve your performance, right. How it is done? He is going to direct employees that how to behave, right. So, that he develop those competencies to perform well. He is also going to motivate employees, okay, why you need to do it, right. So, basically the idea here is that as a manager you allow employees to engage in goal directed behavior. What I mean to say by goal directed behavior is that you are to say that okay, focus on your goal, this is what are the things that you are going to do and how it is going to help you to improve your performance, right. And once he is able to do it, you are also going to appreciate and recognize it by rewarding him and make sure that he is able to sustain this in the long term, right. So, that his performance continuously improves. Moving further, what we are going to discuss is that we have talked about coaching. So, it is why we are going for coaching, right. Coaching helps you to do what? Unlock your potential. Look at this, which talks about unlocking your potential, right, improving your performance, and it is also concerned with the outcome, right. Now, when I am talking about unlocking your potential, it means that you are having certain qualities, but you do not know how to bring it out. So, a coach might help you to unlock your potential. You might have seen lot of performances, right, on the TV or stage shows. What happens in the beginning? You screen out certain people based upon the kind of talent they have, and then what you do? You groom them, you coach them, so that they become better performers. You might have seen reality shows related to dance, song and all kind of things. What happens in the process? They try to screen out those who are having the talent. So, as a coach, your responsibility is to see that you are able to improve your performance and reach the targeted level of performance, right. And for that, what they are going to do? They are going to unlock your potential. So, through this process of coaching, what actually happens? You will be able to unlock the potential, right. So, what does it involve? Practical goal focused form of one-to-one learning. So, you tell them how to do, what to do, okay, and then you also try to see that the person is able to make those changes in themselves, right, so that he is able to improve, right. So, the objective is to produce learning, behavioral changes and growth in the coachee for the economic benefit of the client, that is the organization. that employs the coaches. So, why management and organization is going to spend a lot of money on these kind of activities? Because coaches are expensive, so you have to hire them and they are going to train your people, right. So, that coaches train you, you improve your performance and that helps you to see that organization also improves its performance. So, your performance is linked with the organizational performance. So, coaching is also linked with your performance and organizational performance, right. What are the benefits? Look at this example. This is a stage show. You can see that how they have been able to synchronize their activities in order to create this performance, right. This is an outcome of coaching, but a lot of processes goes on in order to ensure that this kind of synchronization achieved by the artists or the performers, right. So, when you are going to look at the benefits, what actually happens? Okay. You remember we talked about measuring performance in terms of quality, efficiency and time, right. So, it improves, it also helps you to be more excited, motivated, it creates a lot of enthusiasm because you are able to perform well. So, you think about the next level, right. At the same time, it also strengthens relationship and communication among the members, okay, between the coach and the coaches. And when you are able to perform well, it creates satisfaction for both the coach and the coaches, right. Okay. So, basically when coach and coaches are working together, okay, then it helps them to develop a good team which is going to be more effective. So, when I am talking about teamwork, you know, sometimes you are not going to have only one-to-one coach, right. There could be a coach who is going to have a number of coaches, right. Like in sports, you might be having a number of players working with a coach. So, the idea of the coach is to ensure that all the players of the team are able to synchronize their activity, create a kind of synergy that helps them to improve their performance, right. So, it also helps to develop good relationship among the team members and also communicate effectively within the team, right. And the result would be better quality product, more efficiency, right, and it is dependent on trust and loyalty. So, if you trust on each other as a team, probably that would help you, and these are some of the benefits of the coaching. Now, look at the role of the supervisor. Now, if you look at this picture, what happens? It is a basketball game where a coach is trying to teach certain things to the students, right. The idea here is that he is going to tell you how to perform certain activities, right. What are the different kind of activities that you have to perform, so that you become a good player, right. So, what is the role of the supervisor? He is motivated to see that the group is going to succeed in his performance, right. So, whatever knowledge and skill he has, he is going to provide you through teaching, through demonstration, by taking itself on him. So, suppose he is going to tell you that how you are going to put the ball in the basket. So, he is going to demonstrate it and then he will ask you to carry it out. So, that he sees that whether how well you are doing, and then probably if certain corrective actions is required in your behavior, certain changes are required, he is able to help you to do that, right. So, supervisor has a important role, right, and he also has the authority because he is responsible for your coaching. So, he is going to do everything that is required for you to learn the job effectively, right. So, supervisor also has a very important role to play in the process, right, and since he is responsible for the performance of the team, because you have seen that if the team is not able to perform well, coaches take the responsibilities for good or bad performance, whatever is there. Now, HRD also has an important role. So, HR professionals are going to see when it comes to selection of the coaches, right. Now, they are not going to only select coaches, but they also need to see that coaches are trained very well, so that they can provide good and effective services to the employees, right. They also need to see that yes, if they are having certain performance related problem, they could correct it, otherwise there could be a problem, right. They also provide all kind of support in terms of resources, equipment, technology, right, which is required by the coaches for that developing those skills which is required by the coaches, right. And that is why we call it an intervention. Just like learning experiences, coaching is also a kind of intervention through which people are able to improve their performance, right. Now, look at some of the guiding principles of successful coaching. Okay. See, if you are talking about coaching, it is based on the relationship, between the coach and the coaches, right. So, how you develop a good successful relationship between the coach and the coaches, because without developing a good relationship between the coach and coachee, it is not possible for you to have good coaching or effective coaching. Then these are the factors like trust and collaboration. Do you really trust on each other? Whether the members of the team collaborate with each other, have trust with each other, or whether the members of the team trust on the coach, or whether the coach collaborate with the team members or not. Okay. Now, another important factor that has been found to be very contributing to the successful is willing to listen. Okay. Whether coach really listens to their clients or the employees or the coaches, and by listening whether he is able to understand what is the problem, because unless you listen to your coaches, you will not be able to find out what kind of problems they have, what kind of skills they are lacking, how it can be overcome, right. So, you are going to look at these issues, and you are also going to see what kind of problems you have. Okay. So, they are going to look at your strength and your weaknesses, so that they are able to identify areas for improvement that is to be taken care by the coach, right. Since it is to be done with the employees, right. So, you have to ensure that you are going to take care of the employees, right. So, the idea is that you are going to ensure or facilitate this change, but ultimately it has to be done by the employees, because they are the major source of the change. So, they are going to direct their activities. The coach is in the role of a facilitator, right. He is going to tell you, demonstrate it you that how the job is to be done, but ultimately it is to be done by you, right. Since each individual is unique and different in terms of its personality, the coach has to recognize that and see that how this individual could be developed depending upon the nature, the temperament and the personality that the person has, in addition to his knowledge and skill base. So, what is very important is that the person has to be understood in its totality, including its personality and his behavior, and see that depending upon that what needs to be done in order to ensure that the person is able to himself. Sometimes we say that this person cannot be trained, this is a hard nut to crack. It means that the person has a very rigid personality. It means that you need to develop certain strategies to see that how this person can be developed, right. So, ultimately you act as a facilitator and moderator of growth. The ultimate responsibility for learning depends upon the individual or the employees. So, the role of the coach is what? He is going to see that what is the objective of the coaching session which has been fixed, so they are supposed to learn in the process, right. He is going to see that what is your development plan, which is going to help you to achieve your tasks and responsibilities, right. He is also going to see that you understand what you are supposed to achieve in terms of your roles and responsibilities, and how you are going to align your expectations with other members of the team, because you are going to work as a team you are going to set norms, you have to be very cohesive. We have talked about these kind of things. So, you need to ensure that your need and expectations are aligned with all the team members, so that everybody has a common thinking. This is what you know as group thinking. So, group thinking is very important. In group thinking, what happens that you have a common frame of reference where everybody think alike. So, if all the members of the team are part of this, they are aligning their needs and expectations to each other. So, you are achieving group thinking, so that everybody has a common goal or frame of reference for which they are going to work. Then as a coach, you are going to advise, instruct, demonstrate whatever is required, so that they are able to develop those skills, right, and you encourage and also give feedback. So, for example, in a baseball game, a person is throwing a ball in the basket, but it is not going to the basket. Then what you do? You tell him that okay, this is how it is to be done. So, you demonstrate it, and then again you ask him to correct it, and you see that no, this is not the right process to do it. So, you tell him that how to do it, right. And if he is doing well, you acknowledge and reinforce the desired behavior, so that he is motivated enough to sustain that level of performance. That is very important. In addition to that, you also have another activity that is carried out, that is mentoring. Okay. So, in addition to coaching, you also provide mentoring, but mentoring is somewhat different from coaching. Coaching, what happens? It is a case of one-to-one learning to improve your performance. Mentoring, a senior person basically acts as a coach, and he takes the responsibility for the growth and development of the employees. Here the objective is same, the growth and development of the employee, but the process is different. It is not that much structured, where a senior management sees that okay, how you are going to do it, and then based upon his learning experiences, his knowledge and skill, which he is going to share with you, okay, he is going to help you. It is again people centered, but coaching is issue or problem centered, because in mentoring you are going to see that how a person grows personally and professionally. In coaching, you see that how the person is going to resolve his issues related to performance and able to perform well, right. If you look at the time duration, yes, mentoring could be a long term relationship, while coaching, once you are able to learn it, the coaching process ends there, right. And finally, let us look at the a framework for understanding the coaching. Okay. So, look at the antecedents, process, short term outcomes and long term outcomes, proximal and distal outcomes. So, the coaching depends upon these three things. What is the nature, temperament, characteristics of the coach? What is the nature, temperament and characteristics of the coachee, those who are going to learn, and what kind of support is going to be provided by the client or the organization. So, that is the antecedents. Then you have the process, how the coaching is adopted, what kind of approach is used by the coach for the learning. Okay. Then what kind of relationship is developed between the coach and the coaches, okay, and what kind of feedback is given by to the organization, right. And in terms of outcome, whether he is able to increase self awareness, and whether coaches are able to bring about changes in the behavior leading to better performance, it depends upon what? The kind of learning that has happened. So, these proximal outcomes lead to better outcomes in terms of individual performance, better success, and ultimately this leads to what you call improved organizational performance and success, right. So, what we have done here, that we have tried to explain the basics of the coaching, and the next lecture we will again discuss and continue our talk about coaching further. Thank you very much.